1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. I'm your host, Precious D.
And I am your other host, Honeybee. Welcome back, everyone.
Folks, this is our lost episode. One of two episodes that we recorded together, and then I incorrectly downloaded the audio, downloaded the wrong thing, and lost it. So we are
I wish I could hug you.
we are re-recording our commentary on All Monsters Attack, also known as Godzilla's Revenge. Neither of those titles are very accurate descriptions of the movie.
Very, very true. I also have to say I do not have my note because I am not home. I am somewhere in Texas without my notebook. So I
It's
just
all right.
want to throw it out.
We'll survive. Honeybee, we have a special guest interview today.
Yay! I love special guest interviews. Who are we interviewing today?
We will be talking to Ron Bonk of SRS Cinema, the film distributors who will be releasing Space Monster Wangmangwi,
Wow.
which we have mentioned numerous times on this show. That is the South Korean movie that was thought lost for a long time. He has got the rights to distribute it here in America.
Wow!
So we'll talk to him about that in a little bit, but first, let's talk about All Monsters Attack.
Yay!
It's from 1969, directed by Ishiro Honda, 69 minutes.
Shout out!
Box office was 260 million yen. Budget could not have been much because they reuse a lot of footage from previous movies.
Yeah, it's a lot of recycled footage, but I will say that I think that even with it being recycled footage, they did a good job of like making the storyline and the footage make sense and all of those things. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't mind that the footage was recycled. It didn't bother me so much because of the rest of the storyline was so good for me.
This is our
really
second
mind.
goddamn clip show after Gamera versus Virus. Richie and Potsy are locked in the walk-in fridge, and they're sitting there reminiscing about previous episodes. Oh, damn it. Ishiro Honda says this is one of his favorite movies.
Yay! I can see why. I'm embarrassed to say it. I like really hate myself for loving this movie so much because I know that it's like not exactly like our normal like kaiju shit. This movie, we've talked about this before. This movie is very like chitty bang bang. Like It's like, so it's not really in the same kind of genre. Like it feels weird. It feels like I feel embarrassed to like this movie as much as I do, but I really fucking love it. So.
Yeah, folks, you might not remember this or realize this from when you were a child, but in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, most of the cool shit in the movie doesn't actually happen. It's just a story. It's just a story that the father is telling to the children while they have their picnic on the beach. And it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Imagination.
In the book by Ian Fleming, it does all happen, but not in the movie. And in this movie, the kid just dreams or imagines all the cool kaiju shit. It doesn't actually happen.
Yeah, this kid's coping mechanisms are off the charts. Just very
And what is
healthy.
he coping with? Coping with being a latchkey kid, coping with being bullied, and coping with fucking bank robbers. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot for
yeah, I remember the first time we talked about this, you kept saying how wholesome it was. That was particularly what you liked about it.
It's so... Yeah, I liked it. I also just like really felt like I connected with like how this kid is like dealing with his life. He's like, oh shit, I'm getting bullied. I'm going to go to my world inside my head where big monster teaches me how to fight my bully.
But we mentioned that it's one of Honda's favorites because most kaiju fans put this at the bottom of their list. They do not like it, and that's probably for all the reasons we've just said. Because it reuses a lot of course, if you're a little kid, watching this movie, maybe you haven't seen the other movies. And you don't realize they're just recycling a bunch of fights.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and even if you do realize it and you're a little kid, like, it's so badass. It's like, yeah, put it in all the freaking movies, you know? Like, this movie feels very like geared towards kids. It's like really different from our other
If we weren't there before, we are now fully in the kid movie era of Godzilla.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are absolutely being aimed at children now, and they start just showing them at children's film festivals, and that's fine. So we have
that's fine.
Tomonori Yazaki as Ichiro Mitsuki, and this is like, I don't know, the fourth or fifth?
The third or fourth?
Ichiro.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of either Ichi or Ichiros in these movies and in Gamera movies, and some of them are adults, some of them are
we love to see
children.
I'm not kidding. Every time I think I can't love an Ichi like anymore, we get another Ichiro, and I'm like, oh my god, I love him.
And the child Ichis are definitely Japanese Panchitos. They're definitely in that genre.
Yeah, it's a genre.
Ichiro means firstborn son in Japanese, so I think that's why it's such a common name. Kenji Sahara plays his father, Kenichi Mitsuki. He's not in it a whole lot, but he works on the train, apparently.
Kenji.
Machiko Naka plays Tamiko Mitsuki. Hideo Amamoto is Shinpei Minami. That's the nice neighbor guy that helps take care of Ichi. Sachio Saki is Sembayashi. Kazusuke is Okuda. Junichi Ito is Gabara the boy. Hidemi Ito is Sachiko. Haru Nakajima is Godzilla. Marchin the dwarf is Manila. Midori Uchiyama is the voice of Manila because in the boys' fantasies, Manila speaks.
Which was such a shock.
Yashiko
I did not see that coming.
Kakuyaki is Gabra the monster. So Ichi calls his bully Gabra. I don't think that's his real name. I think he just calls him that. And then in his dreams and his fantasies, Gabra is also a monster that Godzilla fights.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, we gotta talk about Gabra's fucking costume. Yo, this costume, it's one of the worst ones in my opinion.
Well, maybe that's another reason people don't like this movie.
But when you think about it and you realize that it's like Ichi's brain, like it's Ichi's mind, he's like making up this monster, like it makes a little more sense. Like he's a little more colorful than any of the monsters we've seen. Like he has red hair.
Yeah. And that might be
what?
Oh, I was thinking maybe the bully has red hair, but the bully's Japanese, so he probably does not have red hair.
No, he doesn't. But he has like this weird 6-pack plate that like is supposed to have pecs, but it just looks like titties. And then he has like a nub instead of a tail.
Mm-hmm.
He has a nub. He looks like the back of him looks like the front of a Ken Barbie doll. Well,
and his sort of ab pec thing goes up his neck too.
Yeah, it's
a couple little ridges on his neck up above the pectorals. Does he have a horn also? Yeah.
I think he does have a horn.
He has a little horn and big pointy ears. He's kind of green. So Ichiro Miki is a highly imaginative but lonely latchkey kid growing up in urban and polluted Kawasaki. This is, of course, the summary from Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Every day he comes home to his family's empty apartment. His only friends are a toy maker named Shinpei Inami and a young girl named Sachiko.
This is why it was like weird that they like say that he's lonely, because the whole beginning of the movie, him and Sachiko are like friends, like hanging out and stuff.
Yeah.
Then he goes home and he has his friend Shinpei, and like they hang out and stuff. So it's like they're describing him as this like lonely kid, but he's so like positive and always around people.
Yeah. Every day after school, Ichiro is tormented by a gang of bullies led by a child named Sanko Gabra. Oh, I guess that's his last name. To escape his loneliness, Ichiro sleeps and dreams about visiting Monster Island.
Hydroland!
During his visit, he witnesses Godzilla battle 3 Kamakuras. So this is the mantis things from Godzilla vs. Ibira. Brutally outpowering the 3. Ichiro is then chased by a rogue Kamakuras and falls into a deep cave, but luckily avoids being caught by the Kamakuras. Shortly afterwards, Ichiro is rescued from the cave by Manila. Coincidentally, Ichiro quickly learns that Manila has bully problems too, as it is bullied by an abusive monster known as Gabara. Ichiro is then woken by Shinpei, who informs him that his mother must work late again. Ichiro goes out to play, but is then frightened by the bullies and finds and explores an abandoned factory. Is this the part where the bullies want him to go honk? There's a guy painting, what is he painting, a sign? A fence?
Yeah.
There's a guy painting a sign, and he's got a little bicycle or motor scooter or something. And they want him to,
like a motorcycle type.
Yeah, they want him to go honk the horn on it and startle the guy. But Ichiro doesn't want to do that. Mm-hmm. But they're
he's like, no, he'll fall off.
Yeah.
He'll fall off the
But they're
ladder.
like,
I don't want to do that.
They want to beat him up if he won't go do it.
Yeah, like, come on, you chicken shit.
So he finds and explores an abandoned factory. After finding some souvenirs, tubes, a headset, and a wallet with someone's, necessarily the suspect's license. Suspect. Did we say what they're suspects of yet? Or did the summary leave that out?
Bank robber.
There are bank robbers. They talk about it on the news. There's some
robber.
bank robbers. And one of them's dropped their wallet like a dumbass.
Like you do.
Ichiro leaves the factory after hearing some sirens close by. After Ichiro leaves, 2 bank robbers who were hiding out in the factory learn that Ichiro has found one of their driver's licenses and follow him in order to kidnap him. Like you do.
These bank robbers are very Home Alone, like the 2 guys from Home Alone, or like they remind me of the guys from 101 Dalmatians.
Okay.
You know, Cruella's like
right.
dudes.
Yeah.
That's what they remind me of. Oh, and this one guy, he like throughout the movie, he's like drinking from like what looks like a flask, but it's actually a bottle of cough syrup. Well, okay, I don't like know Japanese, so I couldn't like read the label, but it has a label on it. It's not a flask.
Right.
I was like, damn, sipping on some scissor.
Let's see. So they go to kidnap him. Later, after his sukiyaki dinner with Shinpei, Ichiro dreams again and reunites with Manila. Together, they both watch
and he's like, Shinpei, don't fucking wake me up, all right? I'm going to go hang out with my friends on Monster Island. I don't need you waking me up.
Right. And did it happen yet? So Shinpei's got some kind of little device he's built? Like a radio or something? That he's like, can I pick up Monster Island on this? But no, he can't.
But no.
There was some later novel or comic or something that speculated that Ichiro maybe has psychic powers because his visions of Monster Island are so accurate.
Are they?
Well, yeah, they're exactly,
or is it...
they're exactly the scenes that we've seen happen.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking because like Manila talking and then Gabra being green with a red wig.
Well, those
that just screams like, yeah.
So anyway, the 2 of them watch as Godzilla fights Ibira, Kumonga, a giant condor, and some invading jets. Then in the middle of Godzilla's fights, Gabra appears and Manila is forced to battle it. And after a short and one-sided battle, Manila runs away in fear. Godzilla returns to... What's that?
I just said, aw, because it's like, because we saw Ichi do the same thing earlier with the kids, you know, like run away, and now we're seeing Manila do it because of Ichi's mind. It's like, it's so wholesome. I just can't. I like am exploding at the seams with love for this movie.
Godzilla returns to train Manila how to fight and use its own atomic breath. However, Ichiro is woken up this time by the bank robbers and is taken hostage as a means of protection from the authorities. Out of fear and being watched by the thieves, Ichiro calls for Manila's help and falls asleep again, where he witnesses Manila being beaten up by Gabra again. Finally, Ichiro helps Manila fight back at Gabra, and eventually Manila wins.
Yeah!
Catapulting the bully through the air by a seesaw-like log. Godzilla, who was in the area watching, comes to congratulate Manila for its victory, but is ambushed by a vengeful Gabra. Godzilla easily beats down Gabra and sends the bully into retreat, never to bother Manila again.
Yeah, you don't fuck with Daddy Godzilla. He said, not my house, son.
Now, from his experiences in his dreams, Ichiro learns how to face his fears and fight back, gaining the courage to outwit the thieves just in time for the police, called by Shinpei, to arrive and arrest them. So,
we got to talk about Shinpei's car, though.
Yes, the robbers had stolen his car, and then he's walking down the street, and he's like, "This car looks familiar." Oh, it's my car.
What the hell is my car doing here?
And then he opens it up and sees these dumbasses have just left the money in the car.
50 million yen or something.
And the news can't stop talking about the bank robbers, so he knows, the bank robbers. And he calls the police. It's just...
Yay, Shinpei.
So the next day,
it's so funny, though.
Ichiro stands up to Sanko and his gang and wins, regaining his pride and confidence in the process. He also gains their friendship when he plays a prank on the billboard painter. And I didn't care for that part. I didn't think he should have become like them. Aww. He honks the horn and the guy does fall off the ladder and spills the paint all over himself and the ground. But then he starts running away and apologizing. And, we didn't mention before, doesn't he see his dad on the train every day as he's going?
Yeah, as he goes by.
His father works on the train and kind of leans out and waves at him as he goes off to school each day. So this day as he runs by, he's like, "Dad!"
Our beloved Kinji.
Yeah. He's like, "Dad, tell him I'm sorry." And so his father's got to jump off the train and go deal with the mess that his son has made. Also, after all of this, his mother's like, "I'm not going to work late anymore." She feels really guilty that her son got kidnapped by bank robbers.
Yeah, Ichi really wins.
Maybe my work-life balance is out of whack if my son's getting kidnapped by bank robbers.
Yep. Time to take a less trips a week, Mama Bear.
So
I wonder what Kenji Sahara thinks about this movie. I want his opinion. Because he's like in all the movies, right? Yeah. Like he knows them. He's in all of them.
He's in more Godzilla movies than anybody else. Although a lot of these people do show up in many of them, but he's in more than anyone else.
He's our guy.
Yeah. Oh, and you mentioned last time this part at the end about
Godzilla. Yeah, the kids.
The kid says something to the adults about Godzilla, and then he leaves, and they're all like, "What?" Go ahead, talk about it.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit. What was the last thing you said?
That the kid tells the adults something about Godzilla, and then he leaves, and they're all kind of like, "What? What is he talking about, Godzilla?"
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then the guy, is it Shinpei? Yeah, he's like, "Well, adults have gods, and we adults worship God, so maybe this is just the kids' version of gods, or gods for kids, or something like that." Yeah, I don't remember exactly how he words it.
Yeah, that kaiju might be like gods to the children.
To children, yeah. Which, like coming from good old West Odessa, the Bible Belt, where we love Jesus, it's just like so crazy to hear that, like, oh my gosh, what? But then we talked about it and you were telling me like, yeah, they have like, different, it's just like, it's so different. Like they have different gods for different things. So like it makes more sense for that, like looking at it that way. But at first I was like, wait, what in the Jesus Christ? But
traditionally in Japan, there's sort of a combination of ancestor worship and then also kind of local gods, household gods, or the god of this river or the god of that mountain, or that kind of stuff. So
Godzilla's the god of the children.
Yes. So the idea that the children might sort of treat the kaiju as gods is not completely out of whack. Though it does remind me of that meme with there's like an alligator at somebody's front door. Like an actual alligator's crawled up to somebody's front door, and it looks like they're trying to reach for the bell. And they're saying, "Do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Godzilla?" So yeah, maybe Ichiro will start going door to door proselytizing about Godzilla. I mean, it's right there.
That's how I feel about Mothra.
Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
Mothra can be my god. I'm cool with it.
Oh god, I saw just a random thing on Twitter the other day. Patricia Arquette tweeted out, "I love Mothra."
I love you, Patricia.
So there you go.
I tried to find I got a new phone recently and I tried to find a Mothra phone case.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't find one. I found a few Godzilla ones, but nothing that I was like happy with
Mm,
because they were all like 2021 Godzilla and I kind of wanted something a little bit older, but
right.
I really wanted a Mothra case so bad I couldn't find it. But oh
Oh.
well.
Oh. Well, we'll keep looking. Keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, I have a special interview today with Ron Bonk from SRS Cinema. They are a
Hello?
film distributor. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. They're a film distribution company, and we're going to be talking to them about a particular film that we've been looking forward to. Ron, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your company?
Let's see. I've been doing this about 30 years. Started on the production side of things and found that I needed to learn the distribution in order to get the stuff out there safely. There was options, and I was shooting on analog video back in the day, so there wasn't a ton of options back in the 90s. But in order to get them out there safely, to see a return on them, figure I needed to learn the distribution side of things, and they've gone hand in hand. There's been some points where I haven't, been shooting as much as I'd like, but for the most part, usually have something going on every year, a new production that I make myself, produce movies from afar, and of course, acquiring videos, which is the case with Space Monster. A few years ago, I mean, I'd always wanted to acquire kaiju movies, but they were extremely difficult to locate or we're mostly getting scooped up, from other distributors. But the process of, building the company up and having this longevity and the internet making it a smaller world and making new contacts over the years, eventually was able to start securing these types of movies. I think the first one was a Toku movie called Gun Caliber. And the first kaiju movie was Rigo and Raga, which I acquired the two at the same time. And that pretty much brings us to today. I've released a bunch of different kaiju movies in between, constantly releasing horror movies, horror comedies, anything that's a B movie or cult movie, older movie, retro movies, again, that I both acquire and produce.
Oh, okay. So, what one? Give me the names of a couple of ones you produced yourself.
Well, I wrote, produced, and directed She Kills and House Shark, Play. There's I think like 10 movies that I directed. Produced, like recently, I produced Doll Shark with Mark Polonia. I worked with him a lot. He's making Motorboat right now, which is like the car water. He did Virus Shark for me and Dune World, which we had the retitle Sand World. Tim Ritter made Sharks of the Corn for me. So with the movies, like the movies that Tim and Mark, and there's a new guy, Bobby Knepp, who's doing a movie called Woke for me. I'm also working with Evan Jacobs, who did like the Death Toilet movies. I will pitch them usually a title and a synopsis and say, make the movie. Here's the money to do it. Here's the budget. If they agree, then they set out to make it. And these are low budget productions. They're under 10 grand in most cases, but they have that freedom to make the movie that they want. And, I will offer input when they ask it. Sometimes there's some requests I make. For the most part, though, they just got to kind of hit on the idea. My synopsis or idea might be like a paragraph long with the title, and deliver it, according to the specs required. So, and these guys worked. Mark and Tim have been doing it longer than me. They know how to shoot quick and cheap, and Mark can make the movies in a couple weekends. He's super fast. So it works out for them and works out for me to get constant new product design to hit on trends in the marketplace. And hopefully, as we grow these budgets, I would like to eventually start producing some kaiju movies with these guys or make them myself.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, yes, the reason we have you here today is to talk about a particular kaiju movie, Space Monster Wangmagwi. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
That's how I pronounce it.
This has been not exactly a lost movie, but a hard to... I mean, you had to catch it at a South Korean film festival or go to the National Archives and watch it on site, is my understanding.
I think it played on TV a few times too, randomly.
Okay.
I'm not sure how their schedules work over there, but yeah, I mean, it was thought lost for years until, from my understanding, it suddenly popped up at a screening of a festival of sorts, and a lot of people were just shocked, that there was a print out there,
Right.
and of course, after I heard about it, tried to track down a lead for it, the producers directly, and was working through somebody else who had simply, I think, inquired. I don't think any money or anything was discussed yet, and was just told that they had no interest in licensing it to anyone, and maybe even, if I remember right, especially like an American distributor. So, it seemed like it was a dead end for years, but I was like, you know what? I'd never talked to these people directly. And I felt like that needed to be done so I could really stress to them, how important this movie was to me and to the kaiju fans, and also to make a serious offer.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually, I'm leaving names out on purpose because there's other movies that I'm trying to acquire from them. So I don't want any competition.
Okay.
So eventually,
other South Korean movies?
yes.
Okay.
And potentially, kaiju movies. There was another one that I was looking at, but when they accessed the print was in such bad shape that we actually signed an agreement for both these movies, and the print was in such bad shape that they just couldn't do it. And I'm still trying to pursue it. I've asked if I could get the print even sent over here to work on, but so far it's still a bit of a dead end.
Right.
Which is funny as a side note. There was I don't know if it was one person or a couple, right after we announced Space Monster, saw my coming soon page that I posted that previously I teased this other movie coming. I said, due to a bad print, we're not getting this other movie, and even though it said above it, Space Monster had it's coming out approximately August or September. They blew up some message boards or something on social media saying the Space Monster wasn't coming and we should never announced it. And so I started getting a couple emails about what happened? I heard Space Monster has been canceled. I'm like, what? No, it has been canceled.
No.
So it was a bit of a double-edged sword announcing, kind of teasing that other one, but I'm still working on it. But anyways, so after talking to them, or reaching them directly and talking to them, and it took a couple years. I made an offer. They didn't seem. The guy I was actually talking to was passing it on to the producer, and I think he called him the CEO, and he said, is that the best you can offer? Which was the biggest offer I'd ever made for a movie up until that time. I was like, yeah, that's the best I can do. And he's like, all right, I'll talk to him and let you know. So in the process of negotiating on this other movie, I made an offer on it and it was accepted. He said, he came back, he said, I talked to the CEO and we accepted the offer. Do you have a contract you can send over? And I said, sure. And worked up the contract and I sent it over for the one movie. And he wrote back and said, oh, do you not want Space Monster? And I was like, oh, wait, they accepted the offer on both movies. It wasn't really clear with the language barrier. I was like, oh, yes, of course I want both movies. So quickly adjusted the contract, got it signed, and sweated it out for a while as I waited, till it was actually in my hands. You can never really, rest easy. So eventually, though, I got the hard drive and the movie's on there. It looked beautiful, and I sent them over the money, and we were good to go. And like I said, meantime, and during that process, the one movie was lost, so that added to the stress of the whole ordeal situation. But it worked out. The movie's in my hands. We've got a trailer for it. We're starting to work on the authoring. We actually still had a couple of late submissions for the. I don't know if you saw, we put out this call to the fans because we didn't really have much in extras. We didn't have like a commentary track or behind the scene. Didn't even have a trailer. We just had the movie. So we put a call out to the fans via Avery Guerra, who was helping with the PR, and people submitted, personalized videos talking about, how excited they are about Space Monster. And one guy sent in an article he had written about South Korean monster movies and toku and kaiju, and another guy commissioned some art, which was pretty cool. So we're in the process still kind of sorting through and gathering that stuff together. But hopefully, about 2-3 weeks here, we'll start authoring it. And we said, I forget if I said January, February for the expected copy start shipping, but hopefully we can do it for the end of the year. But hopefully no viewers. Hopefully
I believe you gave an estimate of January because
Yeah,
I
that's
pre-ordered 3 copies as soon as it went live.
Oh, thank you.
Or that day. Yeah, one for me, one for my podcast partner, and one for us to have a little giveaway with.
Oh, nice. Well, hopefully I can get it to you sooner. We're trying, for sure.
Well, when I started this podcast, I went on the internet and got a big old list of kaiju movies chronologically. I think I've got everything on it. And I saw this one and that it was not available. So when I stumbled on the announcement on the internet that it was coming out, we were very excited. We're going through the history of kaiju movies chronologically. We started with the original King Kong, and we are right up to the period when this movie came out. Our last movie we did was Gamera versus Virus in 1968. So we're going to pass it and have to circle back around to it, but that's fine. We'll we'll take what we can get. But we're right in this period. It's my understanding this was only the second South Korean kaiju movie, and that the first one truly is lost.
Yeah, the Buddha one. Which
it's
if it's called the Great Buddha or if it's called the Great Buddha Arrival, which is the movie that we released, and I don't believe the other one was feature length.
That was my understanding that it was just a short film.
It's interesting. It's 3.
I guess since it's lost, we don't know for certain, but the reports are that it's not a full-length movie.
How amazing would that be if that's only print of that's only turned up? I don't know how much older is 30 old before Space Monster, so that's so it's a pretty old print to still be kicking around and undiscovered.
Yeah, well, I am also a fan of Doctor Who, and you might be aware that a number of episodes of that were destroyed and are missing. And over the years, they find pieces here and there, one episode out of a 4-episode story or things like that's in somebody's garage in Australia because a copy got sent to an Australian TV station. Or
you do. You hope for something like that, and it certainly happened with other movies.
Yeah, so you never know. It might show up, and that would be great if it did.
Sure. Fingers crossed.
So you said that when you got a hold of the copy, it looked really good. Did you have to do any restoration on it, or was that
No, it was a great capture, an HD capture, and it looked beautiful. It looked even better than I hoped. It just and you've probably seen from the trailer. It just it was nice contrast, beautiful black and white, sharp, as could be hoped for. So it was a top-notch transfer.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you've seen it, obviously. Is there anything you want to tell us about it? Not huge spoilers or anything, but just sort of the premise of the movie.
Let me think, because I don't want to spoil anything. So I've been purposely mum on it, and I know I think the first review that came out on it years ago was someone who had seen it at that first showing and did detail quite a bit of it. So someone, if they really wanted spoilers, could go out there. But I mean, I loved it, of course. I mean, I've been a big kaiju fan my entire life. I'm not saying it's the best kaiju movie ever made by any means, but I loved seeing it. I loved the scale of it. There's some good humor in it. I loved the kid character. It was a very unique take on what happens between civilians and a kaiju that, as far as I know, I've never seen another movie, but there's a lot of like Ultraman or in a kaiju movie or TV show. There's a lot of Ultraman stuff out there that I've never seen, and other more obscure kaiju shows and movies. So maybe it's been done before, but yeah, just I thought it was great, and I won't say any more good or bad beyond that.
Okay.
I think fans will love it. They won't be disappointed by picture quality. They won't be disappointed by the miniature work, the effects, the monster. I think they will definitely have a good time.
So you say there's a kid in it.
Yep.
Okay. We here on Monster Movie Fun Time Go, we call that character the Panchito.
Okay.
My partner Honeybee will be glad to hear there's a Panchito. She has more love for Panchito than I do. We call him that because the first time we saw that character was Panchito in The Beast of Hollow Mountain. And then the same young actor played almost an identical character in The Black Scorpion. He played Juanito in The Black Scorpion. And then we started noticing this same archetype popping up. But since we're watching them chronologically, we saw that seemed to be the movie where the Panchito first appeared. So we'll be glad to hear that there's a Panchito in this movie.
I know a lot of the kaiju movies seem to
in the Japanese in the Japanese ones, he tends to be named Ichi or Ichiro, but not always. Do you yourself have a particular favorite monster? Not a kaiju or not a kaiju, any kind of monster.
I mean, as a kid, and it's hard to top. Even till today, Godzilla was always my favorite giant monster, and the creature from the Black Lagoon was my favorite. I guess you could say human-sized monster,
right?
Even though there's so many great monsters, I mean, it's hard to top the monster from Alien. Amazing. But I mean, there's an excitement, and it's probably a carryover from childhood. A lot of movies that I enjoy from childhood, still create that excitement. But it's carryover from childhood that anytime I see Godzilla on screen, it's exciting. A new movie, a new shore. Seeing Shin Godzilla on the big screen was amazing.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. It could even tie that into a more recent, Halloween. Michael Myers. The first movie has always been the best. I think what was it, 2017, 2018 when they launched this new one, and I thought they did a great job with them there. And then Halloween Kills wasn't the best movie. I liked it, but the parts that I loved about it were the Michael Myers stuff about it, and it's funny, my girlfriend was watching it with me and her kids, and they had another friend over, and she was just like beside herself with the violence and the and some of the dumber parts. Kids were laughing and a good time, and I was just trying to explain to her, like, you just don't get it when Michael's on screen and and doing his stuff, this mystique of his character. I could just watch 90 minutes of him straight with no one else. He's just so cool, and so again, that's carry over to the kaiju movies and Godzilla. But of course, like I said, there's so many. I obviously loved Kong as a kid. Who would watch all the Kong movies, Son of Kong, Mighty Joe Young, and what was it, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Thinking, the Cloverfield. I always love to see a new one, of course. So, the roots come from childhood and come from Godzilla. Probably first and foremost, and King Kong right behind that. But they're I love them in all types of movies. Even the lowest budget ones.
Okay, I too have quite a love for Godzilla. It's why I started this podcast, but then thought, let's go back to the things that inspired Godzilla first. Let's start with Kong and
Sure,
move
yeah.
forward, because if I just do Godzilla movies, it'll be over too soon.
Mhm.
So that's what we're
Yeah. Not too soon, but it'll be
That's
close.
yeah. If I ever run out of kaiju movies, then we'll go back and do Universal Monsters or something like that.
I mean, there's so many movies and shows that haven't gotten a proper release, so maybe it'll never run out.
Yeah.
There's always something else popping up.
So before we go, do you have any other new releases coming out you want to talk about? Anything else you want to plug?
Well, by the time you broadcast this, we have two other limited editions coming out with Space Monster, Abominations of Frankenstein, and Fauci, which is Jaws in Italian. But those are for just 2 weeks for limited edition sales. We have the Gore trilogy, which is the shot on video movies from Hugh Gallagher, Erotica, Gorgasm, Gore Horror. Extreme content, but great dark humor in these movies. I think it's overlooked and a lot. We've done new captures and cleaning and restoration of them, so they look the best they've ever looked. With that still pre-selling in Solitude of the Tormentors, another extreme horror. We release 2 to 4 movies every month, and we have like early in the year we had Utena, which is a kaiju movie made in the States during the pandemic. A new monster. We have Dragon Lizard Lord Super Monsters, which is an exclusive from the site. It toes the line copyright, but it's, as far as I know, it's the only feature-length kaiju movie on analog video. And he did an animated sequel to it, and he's working on more. After his excitement of doing this release with us, he's got all new characters this time. I don't really need new characters and better picture quality. So we have movies like that. We have some regular horror, some comedy horror. We're always releasing new titles. We have a few more new titles launching here end of October. So definitely swing by the site, which is srscinema.com, and check it out if you want to watch something different, something like not the standard sort of Hollywood movies where you usually know what's going to happen from beginning to end, even if just subconsciously. These are unique voices, and there's a lot of love, filmmaking, and cinema poured into them.
Okay, so Space Monster is available to pre-order now at srscinema.com. You're only printing 2,000 units?
Correct.
Will it be streaming later on?
Sometime in mid-2023, we'll do the wide release DVD and the VOD, the digital. And in the case of the DVD, it'll be unlimited for until
Okay.
our rights.
So there's a limited edition Blu-ray, and then there'll be a general release DVD.
2,000, but we've only had, House Shark sold, is approaching 2,000 units. Howl from Beyond the Fog is our biggest kaiju seller in terms of Blu-ray units, at least.
Oh, okay.
It's approaching 2,000 units, and he'll sell out eventually here soon. So this seems to be the magic number for the higher end ones, but if we see it surge up close to that, we could potentially expand the run. Right now, there's still plenty of copies though, so there's over 1,000.
Okay.
Still.
And did I see that there was an even more limited edition VHS?
Yeah, just 50 units on that. I haven't done the full count. We're actually still accounting for everything, but off the top of my head, I believe we sold at least half of those. So, and those will definitely go, and those won't come back with the VHS. It's more fun to just have them disappear or have them be done and
Right.
see them traded within the market. You gotta make something hard to find, I guess.
Well, I've noticed a lot of the movies that are listed on your site I've seen are available on like Tubi or Pluto.
Yeah, and it should be the case with Space Monster eventually too. Yeah. I mean, if they can wait till June, July of 2023, then it'll probably pop up there. Though sometimes a bigger release will first come out strictly as a pay-per-view title where you have to buy it or rent it. But eventually, once they've been on the market for a while, all the movies will go to something like Tubi, where it's ad supported, or Amazon Prime, where if you have the membership, it's free to view. So
Right.
and we still get revenue from it. So definitely support. Support in whatever your format is of choice. It's fine with me. We appreciate the support. It helps us acquire more movies, both in terms of having cash flow, but also when somebody sees a movie like Space Monster come up, and even if they're across the world, where this movie popping up in America, it will lead. It's happened with the horror movies. It'll lead to somebody contacting us and saying, hey, especially like in the European countries, hey, I saw you release so and so's movie. I'm in the same country. I made this movie too, and it leads new contacts. And we're hoping that might help us, make a connection with someone who is, a source of something rare, maybe unknown. You never know. So supporting them and helping them, go as viral as possible. Really, is much more than just about cash flow and numbers. It's about awareness.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we will be covering Space Monster just as soon as we get our hands on it. A bunch of other movies that you distribute are on our list. War of the God Monsters, God Rega, Rigo. Howl from Beyond the Fog. It's just we're going chronologically, so it's going to be a little while before we get to them. But they're definitely on my list.
Raga, the second one, which is my favorite of the Rigo series, the Rigo Raga series, is getting low as well, and so is War of the God Monsters in terms of Blu-rays.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think about them.
I'm gonna probably end up seeing those on Tubi, but I might not wait until because I haven't watched them yet, but I've been aware of them for a while. But I may not wait until we get to it on the show. I may just go ahead and watch it myself first.
Sure, yeah. Because
I do just like to watch these movies just for their own sake, not just for the podcast.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Rigo series is great. I love it. They went a little crazy with the digital effects in the last one, which I don't think that Shimbai, the inside word, didn't have much of a choice. He had to kind of accept it. But that second one is I mean, there's a few digital effects, but they really did a great job with the suits and the sets and the monster destruction and the story. Some people don't like the humor as much. Sometimes it doesn't translate so well, but thoroughly enjoyed those movies.
Well, Ron, thanks for joining us today. Next time you have a big kaiju release, hit me up and you can come on and talk about it.
Sure, will do. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So that website again is srscinema.com, and if you go there, you'll find the links to all their social media, their Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and all of that. Follow them on all of it. For sure. Yeah. Basically, it's SRS Cinema on most of those platforms. Thanks again for joining me, Ron. And now, folks, we will go back to the rest of our show. All right. So how many stars?
Okay. Man, I'm so embarrassed about this. I want to say 5 stars, but I'm really embarrassed about it. So.
Do not be embarrassed. You like what you like, and don't let anyone make you feel bad about it.
I just feel like such a wiener. Like, I feel like such a, because, it's like kaiju movies. I didn't even know anything about them. And here we are a year later. I feel like a serious fan. And I can seriously see where this movie just kind of is like, what the fuck? So it's like, I just kind of feel like silly. But, dude, I love this movie. 5 stars for me.
Okay.
I loved Ichiro. I loved it. It was so wholesome. It was just, I loved it so much. I will watch this movie again. But if you guys tell anyone, I'll deny it, bro.
No, wear it proudly. Get a t-shirt.
No, I am.
All Monsters Attack is my favorite Godzilla movie. Put it on a t-shirt.
No, wait. You have to say so far because come on.
That's true.
And I don't even know if it's like I wouldn't say it's my favorite Godzilla movie because I feel like this is more a Manila movie than a Godzilla movie.
I mean, you haven't even
I
seen
think this-
Mechagodzilla yet. We haven't seen any of Mechagodzilla,
Yeah.
so who knows?
Exactly. And I feel like Godzilla is just like gets better every movie. Like it's so good. I'm totally team Godzilla when it comes to like, Kong versus Godzilla, all this shit.
Uh-huh.
Because I just feel like Godzilla is so much better, but I definitely don't consider this my favorite Godzilla movie, but it's definitely one of my favorite
Okay.
kaiju movies
So then
for sure.
the t-shirt can then just say, I love all monsters attack.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want it to have like Manila and Ichi like hiding in the bush.
And I don't care who knows it.
I don't care who knows it.
All right.
I
you need
want to
to
scream it from the rooftops.
you need to get on your socials and tweet that out to everybody. I'm only going to give it 3, but I do not judge you for giving it 5. That's okay.
Thank you.
We will on our
What do you guys think? Yeah, like let us know.
let us know. But
Like is this like a hit for you or a total miss for you with kaiju movies? Like please let us know how you feel about like me liking this movie so much and Precious being like okay about it.
But we'll tell you what though, on our Letterboxd page for the show, we will give it 5 stars. Folks, you should follow us.
If we get any
You should follow us on Letterboxd.
backlash, you can blame me.
Follow us on Letterboxd. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on all the follows you can. Rate and review us. You can find links to all of that stuff at mmftg.link.bio. I think that's gonna do it for today. You can of course see this movie. It's streaming on HBO Max. Our next movie after this will be Gamera versus Giron, which is streaming on Amazon Prime.
Woohoo!
Might also be on Pluto or Tubi. I'm not sure, but look just in case you don't have, because those ones are always free. Got to pay for Prime. Prime ain't free, baby.
Mm.
So there you go. That'll do it for today. Thanks for joining us. I have been Precious
And
D.
I have been Honey Bee.
Remember to keep calm and seek shelter in
And
basements.
please don't misuse science.
We will not see you, but you will hear us next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go.
Monster movie, fun time, go!
You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texacato Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/mmftg.
Fun time go!